Nishat Noor and welcome to Millennium Headlines. This week's top headlines are Trump to unveil Supreme Court pick for the age. When President Donald Trump unveils his second Supreme Court pick Monday night, with the prime-time flourish of a reality show star, he will lay a momentum marker in modern political history. An exceptional person will be chosen, Trump tweeted on Sunday, showing his glee at making a selection that will put him in the national spotlight he craves with the cherished win decades in the making for his Republican supporters. Trump's pick will cement a 5-4 majority on the court for conservatives who could quite possibly dominate for a generation, and combined with his aggressive efforts to appoint judges to other federal courts across the country, ensure that the imprint of his conscientious presidency will endure long after he has left office. In many ways, Trump's picks will further empower the conservative backlash against progressive victories of the Obama era on issues like gay rights, immigration, and health care legislation, and set a torch under his shock general election campaign. Some of those victories were made possible by the swing vote of Anthony Kennedy, whose retirement handed Trump a golden ideological opening. Liberal horror and conservative delight about the implications of the pick have crystallized into a debate about the newly constituted court's potential to overturn Roe v. Wade, the landmark 1973 decision that upheld the legal right to an abortion. Yet the focus on abortion fails to do justice on the sweeping changes that could be unleashed over time by solidly conservative court. The new justice could sway cases that have defined the role of religion in public life, determine the scope of gun rights, endorse a more restrictive interpretation of civil rights and legislation, and further loosen regularity constraints on big businesses. The new majority will essentially leave Chief Justice John Roberts, appointed by President George W. Bush, as the only likely potential swing vote from the court's right-wing justices. The fact alone reflects just how conservative the Justice Department of the nation's highest bench is likely to be in the years to come. Thai cave rescue suspended for the day after 4 more boys freed. The second day of rescue operations at the cave site in northern Thailand ended after 4 more boys were brought out of the flood cave system on Monday. 8 boys have now been freed, while 4 remain inside the flooded Tham Luang Nang Non cave complex with their coach. On Monday, they endured their 17th night trapped on a ledge 4 kilometers inside the cave system. Their rescued teammates are being treated in quarantine at a Chiang Rai hospital. Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha visited a hospital Monday evening after speaking with the families, who are all still gathered near the cave entrance. Those rescued Monday were in better conditions than those freed the previous day, adding that all the boys rescued are well. The rescue workers are using compressed air tanks and oxygen tanks. They are now resting and need at least 20 hours to prepare for the third operation, but timings could change depending on weather and the water levels. Monday's rescue was carried out 4 to 5 hours ahead of schedule due to favorable conditions, he said. How a hack of oxygen is affecting the Thai soccer team. Officials said late Sunday that the operation has been paused to allow oxygen tanks depleted during the first phase to be refilled. It is unclear whether that also is to determine a factor in suspending operations Monday. David Davis resigns from Theresa May's cabinet and split over Brexit. The Brexit strategy of British Prime Minister Theresa May was dealt a serious blow on Monday with the unexpected resignation of the cabinet minister directly responsible for managing the process of leaving the European Union. David Davis declared he could not support the deal drawn up by May to unite her divided cabinet, saying it involved too close a relationship with the EU and gave only an illusion of control being returned to the UK after Brexit. It seems to me we're giving too much away too easily, and that's a dangerous strategy at this time, Davis said in a BBC radio interview Monday morning. All eyes are now on the pro-Brexit Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson, who is due to make a statement late Monday afternoon local time. If Johnson also resigns, May's ability to remain as Prime Minister would be seriously weakened. Davis' resignation means the consensus over strategy over a post-Brexit deal agreed May and her government on Friday at Country House lasted barely 3 days. One of many Eurosceptics in May's cabinet, Davis was a high-profile supporter of the Leave campaign during the Brexit referendum, putting him at odds with the Prime Minister who supported remaining in the EU. In his resignation letter to May, Davis said he was unpersuaded that our negotiating approach will not just lead to further demands for consensus, and said the national interest required someone in his position to be an enthusiastic believer in your approach and not merely a reluctant conscript. BNP not to join polls keeping Khalida in jail. Main opposition Bangladesh National Party BNP senior leaders on Monday said their party would not join the next general elections, keeping their chairperson and former Prime Minister Khalida Zia in jail, reports UNB. Speaking to a token hunger strike program, they also urged the political parties and the people of all walks of life to get united to restore democracy and force the government to hold the next polls under a non-partisan neutral administration. As part of its countryside programs, the party observed a 7-hour token hunger strike at the Mohanagar Natya Mancha in the city, protesting at the Supreme Court order upholding a stay order on bail granted by the High Court to Khalida Zia in a murder case filed in Kumila. Leaders, activists on BNP and its associate bodies and 20-party alliance and some pro-BNP professionals joined the program that began at 9 a.m. Ganoshatya Kendra founder Zafrullah Chowdhury ended the hunger strike by feeding senior BNP leaders juice after 4:10 p.m. On July 2nd, the Supreme Court upheld its previous order staying the High Court order that had granted bail to Khalida in a murder case filed over the arson attack in Kumila on 3rd February 2015. The BNP leader also demanded the government reconstitute the election commission, dissolve the parliament, and deploy army before the national election to create a level playing field and proper polls atmosphere. Or else, he warned, the election will not be allowed to be held in the country. Fakrul alleged that the government put Khalida behind bars to keep her and BNP away from the politics and the national election. The BNP leader called upon all the political parties and professionals to come forward to forge a national unity to free the country from a current autocratic government's rule, restore democracy and people's rights. The BNP leader urged his party colleagues to get ready for launching a movement in a due time. Misra Abbas alleged that the government is trying to kill Khalida in jail with its repressive acts and by depriving her of treatment. He called upon the BNP leaders and activists to prepare for taking to the streets to have Khalida freed from jail and force the government to hold the next polls under a non-party government. Strike to justify doctors' mistakes unethical. Bangladesh High Court. The High Court on Monday said calling a strike at hospitals, clinics, and diagnostic centers by doctors to justify their mistakes to unethical. A bench of Justice F.R.M. Nazmul Ahsan and Justice K.M. Kamrul Kader came up with observations while hearing a rule, mentioning that people go to three types of professionals: police, lawyer, and doctors. When they are in danger, the court said they would suffer if the professional is ruined by some miscreants. Rafia Khan III, daughter of Rubel Khan, died thanks to wrong treatment at Max Hospital in the port city of Chattogram on 29th of June. On July 7, two physicians of the hospital were dismissed as two probe committees found their negligence in the treatment of the minor girl. Doctors at private hospitals and clinics went on an indefinite strike on Sunday, protesting at the drive at different private clinics and hospitals by Rapid Action Battalion following Rafia's death. However, they called for their strike on Monday. The court came up with the observation while hearing a rule issued over the incident where 20 people lost their eyesight following surgeries at a health center in Chuadanga on 5th of March. The bench asked the Director General of the Directorate General of Health Services to submit a report before the 6th of July, specifying the reasons for losing the eyesight of 20 different people. The victims lost their vision after surgeries at the Impact Masadul Haq Memorial Community Health Center in Chuadanga on March 5th, said a report published on Bangla Daily Shomakal on 29th of March. Thank you for watching Millennium Headlines. This has been Nishat Noor, and see you next week.